All right, let's talk about something that, let's be honest, most of us don't think about until we're in a total bind, the notary public. We're going to dive into the huge role they play right here in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and why it is so much more than just a fancy stamp on a document. Okay, let's get into it.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever had that moment of panic? You know, you're driving around, frantically Googling notary near me, trying to find someone who's actually open and can see you, like right now? Yeah, if you're nodding along, trust me, you are not alone. It is a super common headache. And in a busy place like Cherry Hill, which has this awesome mix of residential neighborhoods and buzzing businesses, the need is pretty much constant. I'm talking real estate closings, legal forms, setting up a new business, you name it. The need for a reliable notary is just a part of everyday life here.
So, let's pull back the curtain a bit. What is a notary really doing when they bring out that stamp and seal? We're going to look past the ink and find out what their true purpose is, and honestly, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so at its core, a notary public is an impartial witness. That's the key word, impartial. Their entire job is to verify that you are who you say you are, and to make sure that you're signing whatever document you have freely and willingly. You can kind of think of them as the official protectors of trust.
And this is where it gets really powerful. By checking your ID and making sure no one's twisting your arm, notaries become this incredible front line of defense against fraud. It's their work that gives that piece of paper its legal power and ensures the whole transaction is legitimate and secure.
But here's the thing. Those official duties, that's just the baseline. A really great notary, the kind you want handling your important papers, brings this whole other level of care and expertise that can literally save the day.
For starters, while they can't give you legal advice, a good one can clarify the type of document you're signing, just so you're clear. Second, they've got a sharp eye for detail. They can often spot little mistakes, a misdate, a wrong name, before it turns into a giant problem down the road. And third, they keep a detailed log, which adds this extra layer of security and proof that everything was done by the book.
Now, all of this is great, but it brings us right back to that first problem, doesn't it? How do you actually find one of these awesome notaries when you're in a jam? Well, that's where the modern solution comes into play, and it is a total game changer. Just look at the difference here. The old way. Ugh. It meant driving all over town, hoping you'd find someone, maybe waiting in a long line, and praying it was during their very limited office hours. The mobile notary way just completely flips the script. They come to you when it works for you. We're talking evenings, weekends, you name it.
And right here in Cherry Hill, a service like CND Mobile Notary is a perfect example of this. They've been serving the community for over 5 years, and they've become so popular because they solve that exact problem we all face: convenience and just plain accessibility.
Seriously, just think about that for a minute. Instead of you blowing up your entire day trying to track down a notary, the notary works around your life. Getting that important business contract signed at your office on your lunch break, or maybe at a Starbucks on a Saturday, that's not a fantasy anymore. That's just how it works. And you know, while mobile service feels super modern, the actual need for notarization is woven deep into our community's history. In fact, it's probably happened in some of our most iconic local spots.
Here's a fun fact. A landmark like the Cherry Hill Mall has almost certainly been the backdrop for tons of notarizations over the decades. I mean, just picture all the lease agreements for new stores, the big business contracts, maybe even property deeds, all made official right there. It just shows you how these important moments are part of the fabric of our town.
Okay, so let's say you're convinced. You need a notary. How in the world do you choose the right one for you? Well, let's run through a quick little checklist.
So when you're picking a notary, you're really juggling a few things. Experience is huge, just as important as their availability. You want someone who can meet you when you need them, sure, but also someone who knows exactly how to handle your specific documents. Of course, their willingness to travel is the whole point of a mobile service. But don't forget to ask about fees up front. No one likes surprises there.
And you know what? The whole field is still evolving. The next big thing is something called remote online notarization, or RON, and it's starting to take off here in New Jersey. It basically lets you get a document notarized legally and securely over a video call. It is the ultimate convenience, especially if you're on a tight schedule. So we'll leave you with this thought to chew on. Now that you know a notary is way more than just a stamp, that they're a guardian of trust, a professional partner, and now super convenient, what are you going to value most the next time you need one? Is it going to be speed, that flexibility, or just that extra peace of mind?